Welcome, everyone, to the Level Story podcast, part of Level Story magazine. My name is Danielle, and today I am joined once again with my co-host, Sam. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
And today we are also joined with a very special guest, coming back to the podcast, Red Angel from YouTube. Hello.
Why, hello there.
It's good to have you back on the podcast.
I am happy to be back.
Because it's been a really long time since that episode, guys. Like, when did that come out? Now I need to look that up. Hang on.
I mean, however long it technically came out, we all know that the way time is relative these days. It was definitely like 30 years ago.
Right.
Least.
True. Yeah, 30 years.
I don't know exactly how many years 2020 was, but enough.
10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer! I've been watching Sentai since the quarantine. What are you talking about?
Also, I'm sorry. I definitely heard it's time to cuck Earth, not conquer Earth.
Oh my.
Wouldn't that have been a different show?
Right. Actually, it looks like we did record during, like, I guess the start of quarantine, or like right before. It was March 2020.
Yeah, that's the thing, is all that that's also when the Final Fantasy VII Remake came out.
Yeah.
It does not feel like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I cannot believe, I thought it was 2019 at least that we had that conversation, so wow. Okay. So it's been a year, a lot's happened, and today we are going to be talking about the year 2020, because we're going to talk about the games we played in 2020. Not games that came out in 2020, just games in general that we played throughout the year. And I feel like 2020 is a very distinct year, obviously, because of COVID and the games that helped us get through it, question mark. Like, kind of get through it.
Well, technically.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a very relaxed episode. That's our topic for today. And I guess we can just jump into it. I guess I'll start it off by saying, even though I didn't play this game, but I want to bring it up first because it seems like it was the game a lot of people played and got them through the beginning months of quarantine, but Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
How many hours do you think you sunk into that?
We don't talk about that.
Are you sure?
I honestly don't know, because I leave my Switch on sometimes, so probably a lot more than it says than I actually did, to be fair.
You just keep telling yourself that.
Right.
Listen here.
I mean, I haven't played it, so, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't sink any hours into it, which I've heard is a mistake on my part.
It's definitely worth sinking some hours into, but it's a weird one because it's one of those games that definitely deserves recognition this year, and only like half of that is because of the game itself. Because, like, it's a good game. I'm not saying that it's bad, because it's not. It's pretty great, but it was the game we needed at that specific moment in a lot of ways. It felt like it sort of helped us all keep a community on some level when it was really hard to do that at the beginning of quarantine. And honestly, I don't know. I feel like the closest analog is when Pokemon Go first started, and like you'd go to a park and there was just a ton of people running around trying to catch Pokemon. You know, you'd hear someone go like, "Oh, there's a Venusaur over here," and then everyone just rushes over that way and tries to, like it felt like we were all in on something that was just really nice and wholesome. And you only get that feeling so often, but we really, really needed it right then. So it's a game that I think stands out. Partially for what it is, but also a lot for what it meant, I guess.
Yeah, it's very true, because it was all over Twitter. I remember seeing everybody posting pictures of their islands. Is that what?
Yep.
Yeah. Which is awesome. So, yeah, hopefully I'll get into it soon. But, yeah, that was like the quintessential 2020 game. Beyond, I guess the opposite side of the coin, which is not as wholesome, which is like The Last of Us Part 2.
Actually, I was going to say, if we're talking other games that sort of took over the year, then Among Us is probably up there, but it's also not.
Oh, yeah.
Older, but
So
yes, The Last of Us Part 2 is about as opposite to Animal Crossing as you can get, probably.
Yes. Well, because I know like a lot of the discourse surrounding that was like, when it first came out, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like a lot of people were saying, why release it this year? And I'm like, well, I don't think they predicted a pandemic would happen. But yeah, they were just comparing it, a lot of people, because of how violent it was compared to obviously Animal Crossing and how much more wholesome Animal Crossing was. But did you play Last of Us Part 2, Red?
I actually didn't. I sit here just going, I have not played it yet.
Well, we won't say anything then, like no spoilers, but because I know the reason I ask you specifically is because I know you had a video talking about like the sequel and how, you know, you kind of like talked about the nature of ambiguous endings and stuff in regards to The Last of Us, and like did you just... Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, that was my cat if you heard that.
It's okay.
You never need to apologize.
You say that, and as mine walks in the room, hey bud. No, yeah, I really have kind of this thing with ambiguous endings. I genuinely favor them, hey bud, over other sorts of endings.
Yeah.
Because it's just something I generally like in a narrative. So I'd rather have an ambiguous ending than a downer ending, because at least with an ambiguous ending, I can make up my own downer ending. You don't tell me what to do, narrators. I'm gonna make it worse. I'm very curious to see how Last of Us 2 turned out. I've surprisingly kept myself free from spoilers, so...
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
To be fair, I've had my head shoved in the Digimon cyber sleuth area of the internet, so that might be why. So...
I still need to play that.
I
just need to play it.
Solid.
I think we talked about this last time, like, because I've never really like been into Digimon, but you both were recommending it.
My problem is I've still only seen Tamers, which I maintain is like all-time great children's show, but you know it is kind of a something of a blockade for getting into the rest of Digimon, because they usually also use a lot of the ones from the first two seasons, and I don't know them.
Yeah, the first two seasons is just the first two seasons is a staple of the series as a whole. Mostly the first season, to be honest, because of the second season they kind of they treat the second season terribly sometimes.
Oh.
Not as bad as the fourth season, but you know. But no, I kind of in the Digimon Cyber Sleuth mode, but I personally am very curious about what happened with The Last of Us 2. I've heard a lot of people are upset. I don't know entirely why. Half the time I kind of poke my head out in the Twitter controversy, and then I put my head back where my Digivice is. That's how I roll.
I
I'd
mean,
be very interested to hear your opinion, because it's a complicated game with understandably complicated feelings and opinions on it, and yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And you know, it's one of those things, like, without like spoilers, like I think the discourse became a lot bigger than the game itself in a way, where a lot of people were getting upset for sort of the wrong reasons, and there were other people who were upset for like legitimate reasons, which I won't say here, but yeah, it just became a lot bigger than I guess they were intending. I don't know, but yeah, it's just it feels like a lot of drama around a game that maybe just could have been meaningfully received, and a lot of people just got upset about it. So
Yeah.
I think the crunch time thing might have been a big part of it.
Yeah.
But...
that was a whole other side of the coin, which...
It's always complicated to talk about the game, because you feel like you have to temper any praise with also, though, not cool, Naughty Dog. And then it also got complicated because there were a bunch of man babies on the internet that were upset because a female character has muscles.
Right,
and, like,
right.
Yeah. It's one of, like, the more sort of weird, unreasonable stuff that isn't directly related to the actual quality of the game there is to talk about, the harder it is to actually just talk about the quality of the game. So, yeah.
But aren't there other famous lady characters that also have muscles?
I mean, yes, but
this one's different.
Her muscles are very big.
and she doesn't have large breasts that she shows off all the time. So that means it's very just inappropriate and obviously trying to murder men or something. I don't know.
SJW.
Okay, I'm sorry. Bayonetta can crush a man's head with her thighs, and that's not trying to kill men.
Look, Bayonetta's in a whole class of her own. She doesn't count.
Yeah, she has her boots that have guns on them. Or her heels with guns. I gave up.
Honestly, Bayonetta's so fascinating, but that's
She is so fascinating.
Still needs to play that too.
It's worth playing. It's so interesting.
Wait, is there only one game or is this a whole series?
There's two.
There's two.
Yeah.
Okay.
The character was made by a feminist lady, and the game is directed by a super sexist dude. And boy, can you tell both of those things are in there.
Interesting.
It's really weird and cool and interesting, and yeah. Anyway.
Now I'm even more intrigued based on
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of discourse hot takes when it came to Last of Us Part 2, but. Yeah, definitely. I agree with Sam. I'll definitely be interested to hear your thoughts, Red, when you play it, because it's interesting.
It's a downer, but it's it's worth playing.
Yeah.
Just be in a mind space for it, I guess.
That is true. Being in the right headspace for that, like, it's just so important when playing that game. Because I did try to play it a second time and could not bring myself to do it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while for me before I revisit that one. I probably will someday, but
yeah,
I've got time.
Yeah.
I glance over at the things I normally watch or the music I listen to. I go, no, I feel like I'd be set for that.
Cool.
There you go.
I glance over at my mostly watched set of Haibane Renmei DVDs, and I'm like, yeah, that's about.
Yeah, I've got a specific type of emotionally difficult things that I'm pretty much always down for. Like, I'll rewatch Clannad anytime. It'll reduce me to a blubbering, teary mess, but, that'll be fine. But, man, I don't know. Last of Us Part 2 is pretty rough.
I mean, I bring up The Last of Us Part 2, but actually, believe it or not, in the beginning of this year, I played The Last of Us Part 1 for the first time.
Right. That's pretty recent for you.
Yeah, which is still insane to me because I remember playing the game and thinking to myself, man, like, imagine a real pandemic happening. Like, literally. Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
At least we dodged the fungus zombies.
Yeah. But that's kind of surreal when I look back at that. And it's surreal, like, not just because of that, but just because The Last of Us is one of those games that it feels like everybody has played, and it almost feels like I have always played it, but it was just like a year ago, or a little more than a year ago that I first played it. So, and it's a very good game. And Left Behind, actually. Played in January as well. So...
as someone who grew up in church, I still just always think of
I know.
the series of fiction books about the end times before I think about the DLC for The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We have those at the library. I'm going, what are you... Oh, yeah, those.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually recently rewatched the first movie with Kirk Cameron.
Ooh.
Movies?
It was actually... Oh, yeah, they made movies based on the first 3 books, and then they remade the first movie with Nicolas Cage in, like, 2017.
Yep.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I need to.
I have so many questions. Anyway.
It's funny, actually, because a friend of mine who I work with, she was telling me how her granddaughter loves this book series. And I'm like, oh, what is it? She's like, I can't remember the name. I think it's like, I think she said, I don't know if she said Left Behind or if she said an author name. And I was like, wait a second. Left Behind? And I was like, you know what that is, right? And I started explaining to her, and she's like, look, I don't care what my daughter, like, gives her, like, her kids to read. Like, if she lets them read it, that's fine. I'm like, okay. Left Behind, no.
Oh boy.
But yeah. But no. Left Behind, The Last of Us Left Behind.
Yes.
And which I genuinely enjoy both of those games quite a bit. And speaking as someone who really has a hard time replaying The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us I actually love replaying. I think I've played it 2 times since playing it for the first time during 2020, so...
Yeah, it doesn't feel quite as oppressive as
Yeah.
2 in a lot of ways, so that makes sense.
I'm thinking about, like, just games in general and, like, kind of the games that, like, we got excited for in 2020. What were some of the games that you were looking forward to, like, a ton in 2020 that you ended up playing?
Well, I can come in with the PS5 report, since I think I'm the only person here who's miraculously managed to snag one so far.
Yes.
Am I right on that? Red, you haven't gotten a PS5 yet?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I am happy to report that Demon's Souls remake is really, really good. Just excellent, absolutely gorgeous. They've updated it in a few ways, but kept it pretty faithful overall. And as someone who loved and played, that's like my one claim to hipster fame of recent video games is that I played Demon's Souls before everyone was into Dark Souls. So like,
And admittedly, so did I, to be fair.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's a very good game, and I've wanted a remake for a long time, especially since the PS3 servers shut down, so you couldn't do any of the like notes or co-op or anything. And the remake is it's very, very good. I like it a lot, and I'm enjoying it. I've also been playing The Pathless, which I guess is not a PS5 exclusive, but still, it's very, very good. It's kind of like if the people who made Journey tried to make a Team Ico game and put some Breath of the Wild into there.
Oh.
And it's very good, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Bugsnax is weird and kind of cute and mostly weird.
Oh, that game.
Yeah, it's strange. But yeah, mostly honestly, it's just that the PS5 has really fast loading times, and also the controller is amazing. Like, there's a little demo game that comes preloaded onto the system specifically to show it off, and like there's a point where it starts raining and you feel little like pricks of vibration all over your hands on the controller. It's really neat. But yeah, I was mostly excited for The Pathless, Demon's Souls, and Miles Morales when I got the PS5. And I actually just got Miles Morales, but I haven't played it yet. But I'm really enjoying The Pathless and Demon's Souls, so yeah, there's the PS5 report. Red, how about you?
Digimon Cyber... No, okay, I'm not going off on that train again. This year... Honestly, okay, so Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town came out this year, and it's the remake of Friends of Mineral Town, which is a remake
I was gonna say, I
of
thought
another Mineral Town. But I never got a chance to play the original, so this was kind of fun and fresh for me. And I pre-ordered it, and I got the little cute cow that came with it, and it's been kind of nice. I was just running around doing cool farming stuff. And then I went, I'm gonna get Rune Factory 4. I've never played a Rune Factory game, and now I see why everybody likes it. Now I get it. Because it's a lot of fun. I did not know you could tame animals, and then I suddenly was able to tame a cow to come and fight with me, and I was able to ride on its back, and it was the greatest thing. I was a JRPG dungeon crawler, and I'm riding on the back of a cow in this JRPG dungeon crawler with my waifu. I'm okay with this!
That does sound pretty great, actually.
It's a lot of fun. It's because the general plot of Rune Factory 4 is you're this rando person that falls off of an airship and into a throne room, and they said, "Hey, you're our prince, right? Cool." And you go, "Wait, hold up." They go, "You're the royalty, right? Run the entire town." And really, the dragon knew you were not the royalty. They just were like, "Eh."
Oh boy.
Whatever. And the actual royalty's like, whatever. You can run it, it's fine. So that's the entire plot.
Oh boy.
Wow. That actually sounds pretty amazing.
It's very anime. It's so anime. It is, like, some of the reactions are anime. The fact that you recharge at a hot springs is an anime thing. I'm just going, sure, okay. I had a lot of moments where I had to go, all right. There's a rolling apple monster that I can run on top of. Sure, okay.
Nice.
It was a genuine amount of a hardcore amount of fun. I like Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town for what it is, but I did not expect Rune Factory 4 to be as extraordinarily fun as it is, and I've invested a bit more time into that. I'm
Alright.
curious about the new game coming up. I'm a little nervous too,
Oh.
because they already had to patch it, so
Oh.
Oh boy.
yeah, the new Story of as of at this point, the new Story of Seasons has not come out yet. I have pre-ordered it, but I did not do the premium edition because I saw the problems that it had, and I went, I'm just gonna pre-order the normal edition, and I'm gonna see what happens.
That's always
Not a
safe.
bad call.
Yeah. I've never
Especially
heard of
since-
either of these, so these look great.
Well, Story of Seasons was Harvest Moon, but then
Oh.
because
Yeah.
now there's a separate Harvest Moon series, and what happened was that one of the companies lost the rights of the name, so the other company ran away with the name, and the main company is the Story of Seasons or our main people that were from the Harvest Moon series are in the Story of Seasons camp, and then they took some of the and then the other camp is the new Harvest Moon camp.
I didn't actually realize that's how that happened. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all copyright related stuff. It was copyright related and publishing related. There's multiple videos on it. I
That, I just assumed Story of Seasons was part of the, there was like a whole sort of boom around that time between that and like Stardew Valley of like Harvest Moon type games. And I just, wow, okay.
Yeah, no, Harvest Moon, yeah, a lot of the Harvest Moon games play I know that the newer ones, I've seen the gameplay, they play a little bit more mobile gamey than than some of the Story Seasons ones, but I'm kind of picking and choosing where I go with this. I'm more excited about Rune Factory 5, which is supposed to come out this year, maybe, hopefully.
I'll have to check that out.
You should if I remember right, Rune Factory, I think the price got lowered again. So it might be down to $39 for free for the physical edition. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I don't remember if you played any of those like types of games, Danielle, but they would probably be very much up your alley.
I was gonna say, every time I talk to both of you, you both like mention games like I have never heard of in my life, and I feel like where have I been?
Hey, so Little Dragon's Cafe you might like too.
What?
Oh gosh.
Wait, I'm looking this up now.
It's so cute. I love it.
But it's very cute.
I love it. I did not buy it this super special edition. I'm glad I didn't. But at the same time, I got it for pretty cheap, and you get to be a little kid, and you get a little dragon buddy, and your little dragon buddy slowly grows up as you feed it, and you progress through the story, and you get to help people's problems, and you run a cafe. I did a video on it.
That's probably why I was going to say it sounded familiar, so now I'm going to have to add your video to my watch list.
It actually reminds me, too, that I still need to play Calico. I forget if that game came out late last year or early this year, but it's a game where you run a cat cafe and you're a magical girl.
Yeah, it was late last year, and I really wanted to play it, too.
Yeah, Jimmy backed it on Kickstarter way back when, so we have access to it. I just need to play it.
I heard it was good.
It looks fantastic. Oh, I love the visuals. I never heard of this one either, though.
More cafe games.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually listed all the games that I played while y'all were talking about yours. I was going. I remembered at the last second.
All right. Well, what are some of the standouts then? Let's go first with some of the standouts from 2020, and then you can go with some of the standouts that were from before.
Let's see here. Hey, so Death and Taxes was wild from 2020.
Okay, now it's my turn. I don't think I know about that one.
So you get to be Death. You're a manifestation of Death, and you go through the forms and you stamp on there who lives and who dies.
Oh.
Is this Papers, Please for the Afterlife?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I just looked it up on Steam and I was like, this looks very much like an Undead Papers, Please. Oh boy, okay.
Wait, hold on. What was the title of that again?
Death and Taxes.
And I'm adding all these games to my Switch wish list right now.
Switch list.
Yeah.
Switch list,
Switch list. Death and Taxes was very, very... I was surprised because I got the worst possible ending the first time I played. I went,
Oh no.
oh. I did not expect. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that happened. Basically, because that you're supposed to. At first, it's just like, okay, kill 2 people, and you have like 8 forms. Is like kill 2 people. And you're like, okay, you determine who lives and who dies. But the next day on your little mobile phone, it pops up the consequences of the people you killed.
Oh.
Like,
no.
like certain innovations don't go through. If you choose not to kill a certain amount of people, sometimes big things happen. Like if you're like, oh, I don't want to kill this environmentalist. They've done so much good for the county, or done so much good for this, and then it turns out this environmentalist has done so much good that there's an overwhelming amount of plants now, and it's taken over the city.
Oh gosh. Okay.
It's stuff like that. It's just like things that you go, oh no, I should follow. If you do nothing but follow the rules, the game criticizes you for it. But if you also don't follow the rules, you don't get as much money, so you can't reveal certain aspects of the game, and you get paid every week, and you get to change your appearance of your little death person. Like you start off with just skull person, and then you get to unlock certain things as you buy them. Like you get like a little Anubis head, and you get like like all kinds of cool stuff.
So
Also, I think
somehow
like a
it's Papers,
pseudo
Please, but
Sans too.
So it's Papers, Please, but instead of fascism, it's about death, and that somehow makes it more quirky and charming instead of just
Depressing. Yeah, you know
Depressing,
what?
yeah.
Honestly, up until the ending, yeah, and then and there's a side thing where if you're really nice to the cat, it'll unlock something.
Okay, well, okay, Game of the Year. I haven't even played it yet, but
Right.
automatically Game of the Year 2020.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just facts.
Yeah, the cat gets to be your boss for a minute, for like a couple of
Ooh.
in-game days.
Perfect.
I love being nice to cats in games. Like, that's amazing. Like, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, that one stood out to me. I was really surprised about that one. I thought about doing a video on it, but it was one of those things, there's too many endings, and I'm going, this is gonna be complicated. It's one of those, like, it's on the shelf for now. I might come back to it, but I look at it and I say, there's too many endings, and I don't know if I would want to keep replaying it just to get all of the footage. I may end up having to borrow a lot of it.
Yeah.
Actually,
I just saw, by the way, your little Dragons Cafe video. I had added it to one of my watch lists, so I must have at some point wanted to play the game, but it wasn't on my wish list, or my Switch list, I should say. So I need to get on that.
Okay, on that. Let's see, what else was on there? Hey, so have either of you heard of a game called Domina?
No.
You are much more clued into the indie scene than I am, and I appreciate that because I like indie games. I just don't know about them as much.
Okay, so Domina, this might say a lot about me. Okay, so you are a ruler of a ludus, and you train gladiators. And it's all pixel art. And it's weird because that you are essentially training these random pixel people for death, and you buy them and everything, and you go, this is weird, and it's bizarre. It's one of those bizarre. It's bizarre, but it's also kind of grimly fun because you go, okay, I'm gonna train this guy and make him super buff and ready to, like, it's like Pokemon, but you could just kind of let them do what they want. And you're like, this is good. No, they just die. Yeah, they get mauled like horrific. Some people, like, sometimes you don't have enough money, so you have to go down in the pits, and you have to unleash some of your guys, and like sometimes you'll just get the whole thing wiped out, and you game over. The big goal is to raise your grandfather's ludus to its former glory, or something like that. I have yet to beat it because I just don't follow the strategy guides, and I just have fun with it and see where it goes. But it's just kind of wild. You could build onto your ludus, like you can build something to get water easier, something for food easier. But then you can also build a private room, so in case your guys are saying, "Hey, I would like some people to sleep with me tonight. I'll do better in the games tomorrow," and you go, "Alright, head out." You just like, you throw them that way. Go, all right, you better not die tomorrow. Spent too much money on you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's because it's basically it operates as Rome, and it's kind of fascinating how they do it, and how it's all monster management, pixel management, but they're people, and you go, I don't know how I feel about this, but this is fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely does sound very interesting in a like I'm going to hell if I have fun with this sort of way.
It's just that's the problem. I'm going, why am I so fascinated by this? Because I think it's that part of my brain that really likes to do monster management and Pokemon and IVs and all of like the super battling, and I went, oh no.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I feel like if it wants to and does a good job, it could actually do like a really like be an interesting commentary, I guess, on the way that we sort of dehumanize people in, you know, when we're like using them as pawns or whatever in cases like this. Or it could just be fun, who knows? But
or just release. I think I don't really know a whole lot about its development, but I think it was released at the very tail ends of Spartacus's run, the TV show on Stars.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
never
was
did
released
finish
on the
that.
very tail end of that, like the development. So it really makes, especially if you look at the design of the Domina, because the Domina is is a lady, and she looks like Lucy Lawless's actress, or Lucy Lawless's
Yeah.
character Lucrezia.
Huh.
Lucrezia, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. She looks exactly like her. So it's kind of one of those things where I go, I feel like this is meant to be like Spartacus, but if it's only the management of the gladiators part, and that's it,
Right.
and nothing else.
Huh.
It's interesting. It's one of those like I have fun with it when I play it, and I have fun just making fun of the ridiculousness of seeing these pixel art people in some of these outfits, because I think they try to make it a little too accurate, and at a
Oh.
couple points I just kind of go, that straight up looks like something from 50 Shades of Grey. Why?
Oh.
Well, that gives me a different idea for a game, actually.
Ooh.
No, I'm not gonna.
Uh,
That was meant to be a joke that I trail out there. Please don't make me explain.
All right, I'll keep talking about this awkward.
It's for look. If we want to do that podcast, we can, but it's not this one.
right.
But between that one's been a lot of fun, just because of my weird monster management series obsession slight. In that same monster management obsession, hey, so Jurassic World Evolution's pretty fun.
Is it?
Another one that you've done a video on.
Another one I've done a video on. Well, because I'm like, oh yeah, monster management, but dinosaurs this time. Honestly,
And
if you
also
just like,
terrible, but also good.
it's
Or
bad
broken,
and
but good. I don't.
it's busted. It's so busted.
Really?
Apparently, it's also on the Switch now too, which I was so mad about because it's the complete edition, and I went, is that all the DLC? Damn it! I'm so mad. But it's fun. I have fun with it. It's a lot of stuff where your dinosaurs, they try to make them act realistic, but they're not.
Hmm.
And the dinosaurs just sometimes they feel like they want to just go and do their own thing.
Like, is this a part of like the extended universe of Jurassic World? Like, how tied?
It is.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a theme park game where you manage your own Jurassic Park.
It's like Jurassic
Oh.
Park Operation Genesis.
So it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, except instead of making roller coasters so that they launch people out of the park and murder them, you make parks that the T-Rexes get out and eat everyone.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think.
And there's just
yeah.
so many creative ways that it happens.
I really want to try this now.
It's fun. It is a lot of fun. If it's a lot of fun, but then sometimes it gets not so fun, and you just go, I'm just gonna start over. I'm just gonna just salt the earth and just start over.
Yeah.
Like half my Civilization games.
Yeah, that's about right. And honestly, I have had a habit of just naming all of like one specific species of dinosaurs Houdini, because he keeps escaping,
And
and it's always the Certosaurus. It's always the Certosaurus, and he always just gets out, and he just kind of wanders the back of the island for a bit, and I go, Houdini, get back! you're gonna get sick, and he gets sick immediately, and all of the people are like, oh god, a dinosaur, and Houdini's like, I'm gonna eat him, and I'm gonna get sick again. I'm like, of course.
Okay, I'll have to check that out then, because I've heard a lot about that one, but I didn't realize it was so, like, I thought it was like a game where you actually like followed a story and stuff. I didn't realize it was more like a roller coaster tycoon type thing.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a story-based Jurassic Park game since Telltale tried.
Wait, Telltale tried? I didn't even realize that.
Oh, that's right.
It was before their their renaissance with The Walking Dead. They did an episodic cinematic adventure game for Jurassic Park. I've heard mixed things on it. I have it, but I haven't played it. I want to at some point. They pre-Telltale. It's weird the difference between Telltale pre and post Walking Dead. Honestly, like they mostly did comedy games, like Sam and Max. They did the Homestar Runner game.
Yeah.
And then they tried something more serious with Jurassic Park. Apparently, didn't work out super well. And then Walking Dead turned out just absolutely incredible, and they were very different after that.
Right.
So
that makes sense. Any other games that we were like super pumped for this year before I go into mine?
Well, I had obviously the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I won't talk about too much because I've talked about it with both of you plenty, I think. Actually, I don't. Red, did you play it? I might not have talked with you about it a lot. I forgot.
I have not played it yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually, like, I don't know if this is a conversation we're going to get to later, but it probably is my game of the year because I love pretty much everything about it up until the last, like, half an hour, which I kind of hate, actually, but the rest of it I just love so much that it still gets up there for me. Final Fantasy VII is a very special game to be, as it is to, just countless other people. It doesn't make me special, but it still is. And, I don't know. I feel like aside from a couple like levels that they stretched out to be a little overlong and stuff, the game really just very faithfully adapted the original story and characters while expanding on them in ways that effectively managed to flesh them out without changing them in any significant way. Like, I just love them. I love the way they handled all that stuff. Tifa and Aerith have such an adorable friendship now, and I will ship the two of them and Cloud all together until the day I die.
Yes.
It's just very, very good, and I love it. And they pulled some weird meta nonsense that I interpret as a little bit like hostile to the concept of remaking classic stories and the people who wanted it that way, and I don't like that. But everything else, aside from that, I just love so much, so I was glad about that. I was also very excited for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, because I grew up, like, Crash Bandicoot 2 was the first video game that I would say I truly loved. I 100% beat it multiple times. So, like, I was excited for that series to hopefully get back up to form, and it really, really did. The game is super, super good, and I love it. I feel like we should also mention Hades.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, the FF7R is probably my game of the year, but Hades is, like, if I were to be more objective, it's probably the best game of the year. It's just astonishingly good in a number of ways, in ways that weirdly enough don't endear it to me quite as much as a lot of, like, it might be my least favorite Supergiant game, but that's because they also made 3 other just absolute bangers that do a little more for me in specific ways. But Hades is nonetheless a colossal achievement. And now I just need more people to play Pyre so that people can care about Pyre as much as Pyre deserves to be cared about.
I agree.
Is that in the itch.io bundle?
It is. So you have it. You should play it.
I know.
It's so good.
It's late. Let me check, because yes, I have a list of games I want to play this year. Hang on. I always have it sitting
Honestly,
here.
Supergiant Games has made 4 games, and you should play all of them. They are all absolute 10 out of 10 masterpieces, in my opinion. Like, so good. Well,
I guess I will say, just to merge into this, but I did start playing Bastion last year. But
Yay.
I did kind of fall off the wagon, but I started replaying it to take a break between playing Bloodborne. So I have been starting to play that. Pyre is on my list this year, so I will definitely be playing it at some point.
Cool.
Because I've heard many. What's the other game? Bastion, Pyre,
and Transistor.
Okay.
Which is Red's favorite for a number of very excellent reasons. Wait, am I wrong that it's your favorite? I thought it was your favorite.
No, it's definitely my favorite.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know I'm like totally like not on the wagon with their games, and I need to get on the wagon because I've just heard nothing but praise for all of
Yeah,
their games.
honestly, it's hard for me to think of a developer that is sort of analogous to them. Like, I guess maybe early Pixar, where like just
Oh,
everything they made was gold. Like, I don't know. They're pretty unique. They've only made 4 games at this point, but they're all just absolute top tier. Very
what
good.
what was their first game? Was it Bastion?
It
Yeah,
was Bastion.
That's what I
Bastion
thought.
was their very first. And then Transistor, then Pyre, then Hades. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, those were the ones I was looking forward to the most. I do want to give a quick shout out to Murder by Numbers
Yes.
because I personally am a big fan of games that use like abstract puzzle mechanics to like uh as metaphors for other more narratively complex things. And so a game where you're solving murder mysteries and using Picross puzzles to sort of simulate like a robot identifying clues on the ground is 100% my jam. It's like Phoenix Wright-ish sort of in that sense, but then it's Picross instead of, pointing out contradictions, I guess. And it's just very cute and fun. And I enjoyed the hell out of that and recommend it.
I still need to beat that.
Yeah, it's very. I liked it a lot. I hope they make more. I want more.
I hope so too, because I know like I just got into Picross like maybe a year and a half ago, and that's honestly like I feel bad saying this, but like I have a hard time like getting into the story of Murder by Numbers, but like the
Oh.
puzzles, I don't know why. I guess maybe it's because I'm more excited to like do the Picross puzzles, so I'm like, give me to the next one. But
So I'm kind of the opposite. It was actually my first Picross game, and I'm not
Oh.
sure I really like Picross all that much. Like, it's fine, but I
Oh.
don't love it. But man, Scout is cute. I'm just
Yes.
always down for stories with cute robots, and I like the characters. And there's that one scene where, uh, like, there's actually a scene in it at some point where Scout, the robot who like lost his memory, talks to a drag queen and is like, "Hey, everyone's been
Yes.
calling me he, but I'm a robot, and I'm not sure I actually like know if that fits." And there's like an actual little conversation about the gender binary with this robot, and it's so good. It's
Yeah.
a very cute game. I like it.
I actually just played through that part not long ago. So, yeah,
It's fun.
it is. Oh man, I really need to just finish it because I kind of like it was one of those games that I would play like sort of to like I don't want to say cleanse my palate because I think it's like a very good game and I wanted to play it, but it was always like a game I kind of played and then kind of dropped off of for a little. So I really need to just finish it because it's just a very pleasant little game to play, and I like it. It's very nice.
So yeah, what about your best of 2020?
Well,
list?
for me, like I mean, my most anticipated was Final Fantasy VII Remake. A little different from yours though, because that's another game I just finished at the start of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought FF7 was relatively new for you.
Yeah, I just finished it at the start of the year. Now, granted, I didn't play it like you should play it. I used a lot of the cheats, so I'm probably going to return to it at some point. But I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would, the original.
It's a good game. Like it's had its, you know, as all games that get hailed as the greatest of all time do. It has had its like backlash over time, and obviously any game that gets hyped that much is like technically by definition overrated, I guess, but like it is a legitimately very, very good game.
It is. And it's like, I mean, there are some parts of it obviously that haven't aged the best, like the graphics. But at the time, like, just for what they were doing at the time, this game literally defined so much of gaming today. And I don't know, I appreciate it. And it's just, it's so good. And I think, like, a friend of mine just started playing the remake. And I said to her, do you want to play through the original first? Because, the remake is it is a remake, but it's also like sort of for players who know the story.
Or like a recursion in some ways, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like it's building on the material. It's not just like straight up remaking it. But yeah, like it's such a good game, and then the remake easily would be my favorite game of the year. But like you, Sam, I also like the ending. I think it's more than 30 minutes for me. I kind of started getting a little annoyed with it. Like maybe I think there's 18 chapters. So around chapter 17, I was kind of getting cold feet. And
17 was one of the overlong chapter. Like there are 3 chapters I think in there in particular where they're just like, you know what, let's pad this out a bit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you didn't need to do that. Like it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I still, I love that game so much. It's just, I'm waiting for that part 2, which I know might not come anytime soon, but my fingers are crossed for the PS5. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the rest of the story brings.
Yeah, and
I want to see Red 13 dressed in a sailor's outfit.
yes. Oh, I'm so excited for all of that. I'm just excited to see new areas and new characters and stuff. I'm just excited for all of it. Another game that I was actually really hyped for was seeing Super Mario 64 come to the Switch. Just because I had never really played it that much growing up. The only time I played it was at my dentist office, and I never really got past Bob-omb Battlefield.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry. I know that this has been a very meandering podcast in general, so I don't mean to make yet another site, but your dentist office had a Nintendo 64?
Yeah,
My doctor's offices growing up just had a bunch of highlights magazines and one of those weird toys with all the like wooden marbles going along the metal like twisty things or whatever, but yours had an N64?
Yeah.
I am so jealous.
I know, like it's even thinking back on it, I'm like, wow, that's kind of insane to think about. But yeah, and the only game they had was Super Mario 64.
And I would have so much rather played Super Mario 64 waiting for the dentist than reading Goofus and Gallant. Like,
right.
Man.
I mean, look, when I got a chance to play it, which I think admittedly was quite a bit in the waiting room, like most kids, they would be playing with, like they had a little play area, and I'd be like, hell no, I'm playing this. But I didn't play much. Like I said, only Bob-omb Battlefield was where I played, and I didn't really do anything. Like I just kind of wandered around. So it's always been a game that I wanted to play, and it finally came out. Admittedly, a little shady, weird marketing from Nintendo, but regardless, it came out, and I had a lot of fun with it. I was excited to beat it and get 70 stars. I don't think I'll do 120 stars, because that's like, I grew up with Banjo-Kazooie, which I feel like it's a platformer. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was excited about the idea that you might say Banjo-Kazooie is better than Mario 64. And
I am gonna say it because
hell yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
just because like I think because Banjo came out, I'm yeah, like what years? Actually, I'm trying to think what years these came out. I think Mario was 96, and Banjo-Kazooie was 98, I believe. I might have to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. And I think like, not just because I grew up with it, but like I think Banjo-Kazooie sort of improves on the formula a little bit. And also it's a little more forgiving in the platforming. Like Mario 64's levels are all like, a lot of them are super high up in the air, and you can just like fall off to your death so easily. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. But 70 stars, I enjoyed it a lot. I still need to play Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy. So,
I'm going to come to Sunshine's defense here because everyone hates it and I love it. It's very good. I have heard that the difference in controller affects it, unfortunately, because you use FLUDD with the right trigger, and on the GameCube that was a very procedural thing. Like you could pull it just a little bit to only, use FLUDD a little bit, or a lot to do all the way, and that's just not a thing on the Switch Joy-Cons. So I've heard that causes problems, but also a lot of people just hate it, and I think Sunshine's fantastic. Galaxy is too. Also, gorgeous soundtrack. I don't know what happened, because Mario soundtracks are always great, but they're like fun and silly. Galaxy's is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever heard. It's very pretty.
I have heard a little of it. I forget. I think it was Rosalina's theme, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like.
Yeah, that whole soundtrack, honestly, like top tier, just beautiful orchestric music, in my opinion, which is weird considering the source, but it's very good.
Yeah. I that's one of those games where I kind of dropped off Mario around like I want to say like the last Mario game I played as a kid was probably Super Mario Bros. On like my Game Boy Color. And I just didn't really go back after that. And I feel like I was definitely missing out because Super Mario Sunshine, I've watched speedruns of it, and it looks... I don't get why people dislike it, because it looks just as smooth and fun as 64. Well, okay, smooth is a bit much, but I mean like moving fast is what I mean. Through those games is really satisfying.
Yeah.
And it looks great. So I need to find time, because 64 was the one I was really looking forward to. So I need to really just kind of build up some momentum to start playing Sunshine. But it looks fantastic.
Well, I hope you enjoy it as much as me, and not as much as all of the wrong people out there.
Also,
it's fine if you don't like it, but you know.
I mean, I'm sure I will. I did start playing it a little bit, but again, I didn't play enough for like I can too much comment on it. So
yeah.
But ouch. What Red just posted in the chat, Nintendo casually fires the guy that did the Galaxy tracks.
He might. I mean, I'm double checking, but like I don't see any of his work anywhere else. That's why I'm kind of curious. Oh wait, never mind. He did 3D World. I lied to you. I lied to you all.
Okay.
I'll just cut that out.
Yeah, there you go. Wait, I mean, maybe not. I'm just kind of like looking, going, I don't know. He just kind of disappeared off the face of the
There's some
earth.
composition/arrangement credits for it, I guess. I'm not sure how. I guess he's doing arranging work, but not so much
composition.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like 3D World was the last thing he did.
Though it also says composition/arrangement for all the songs in Galaxy mostly.
Right.
So I'm.
He did.
Sure
he did 77 of the tracks, and then the other guy did like 4.
I really need to.
Kondo, I would assume, or is he not working on Mario anymore?
It just looks like he's not. He's not even on the wiki anymore, or that's the only part of the wiki he's on. I don't even know where he's at.
Weird.
How peculiar.
What would you guys say is the most difficult game you've played this year?
Are we talking emotionally or mechanically? Because we already talked about it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, okay. We'll say.
I assume mechanically.
Yeah, I'll say mechanically for now, but we can also go back to emotionally.
Played in 2020 or that came out in 2020?
Played
because
in 2020?
There is... Oh, okay, because I didn't get to play Demon's Souls until...
True. Yeah.
Because that would be it is harder in some ways. Some fairly significant ways, actually, than previous ones, or the ones that followed, I think. But,
I mean, I can tell you while you're both thinking on it. Like, for me personally...
By all means.
I played, I decided to take 2020 some time to play Kingdom Hearts 3 on critical mode. That was easily just the most difficult thing. Because what I did is I didn't just play the game in critical mode, but I played all the like bonus stuff at the end, which I won't say spoilers because I don't... Have you played Kingdom Hearts 3, Red? I forget.
I have not, alas.
Okay,
I
so
still haven't even finished 2, so...
I was going to say, so I won't say spoilers, but at the end there's just a lot of hard bosses that you get to play in the DLC. And I've never done a lot of the extra content in Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of ironic since, like, that's my favorite series. But I decided to do it this time on the hardest difficulty. And beating all those bosses and beating the secret boss on critical mode was just the most satisfying thing I think I've ever done in my life, but it was so hard. That was just such a great experience. I loved it, but very frustrating, but very good. But yeah, that was probably my hardest that I played.
You know, I'd say for me it was probably Blasphemous. At least I'm pretty sure I played Blasphemous this year. It's like a Metroidvania/Souls-like game. Okay. Think if Castlevania had some Dark Souls influence and then also decided that instead of like cool monster church-like imagery, it was like, what if the... Wait, can we swear on this? I forget.
Go ahead, by all means.
Okay.
I already said damn.
It's more like... It's more like, what if we just base this entire game around, like visually and aesthetically, around Catholic Church, but significantly more fucked up and entirely 100% based on the idea of divine punishment for sins.
Oh.
Like, it's super messed up in a fascinating way, especially, again, for me, like, coming from a religious background. It's not really reflective of my experience, obviously, because I was, like, evangelicalism, youth pastors and modern Christian music or whatever, but it's still very, like, it explores some interesting ideas through the lens of just, like, turning the really messed up elements of a lot of theology up to 300 and just, like, going with it. And it's really interesting, but it's also quite hard on account of, being a Metroidvania Souls-like type game. But it was good. I liked it a lot. I want to replay it sometime so I can do the DLC.
I'm adding it to my wish list now because I've never heard of this one either. This looks cool, though.
Yeah, it's, well, now that you've been playing Bloodborne and you're getting a little more used to super tough games,
True.
like, of that style, it might might work. Though I would say go for Hollow Knight if you're trying to do that sort of genre first, because Hollow Knight is sort of, like, just the best of them. Sure.
Yeah, that's also on my list this year, which hopefully I can play soon, because that looks so good.
It's excellent, yeah.
What about you, Red?
I don't know, I'm a little torn because when it comes to hard, well, okay, so I played Party Hard 1 and 2 last year.
Yeah.
And
I
enjoyed.
about those.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Party Hard 1. But then I was playing Party Hard 2 and I went, why am I having such a hard time killing these people? Oh no. Because there were just so many more people that just wanted you dead. They go, yes, here's you. And here's the other serial killer that's very upset at you. I go, why is he upset at me? They go, because you're killing more than him. I went, oh no. That's how you can sum up my experience of, oh no. I'm gonna, don't worry, boy, I'm gonna head out.
Oh no.
No, that's Party Hard 2 has a lot more fun ways for you to just kind of rain chaos and everything, but also because it doesn't do the thing where it's like, okay, kill everyone in the building and then that's how you clear a level. In Party Hard 2, they only want you to go after certain people. But that's the thing, it's targeted. It's more Hitman-esque, but it's harder. And I was having a little bit of a difficult time with that. And I'm also just going to bring up Digimon Cyber Sleuth. There are hidden bosses that I realized too late that I was woefully underprepared for. As you do in JRPGs, I suppose. Yeah. But I tried to fight Lucemon. That was a mistake. Because Lucemon is like this tiny little cherubic angel thing, and I went, what are you gonna do against my dragon that is the actual incarnate of the devil and my giant rabbit mecha bunny? What you gonna do? And he just flicks a finger and both of them die, and I went, well, guess we gotta grind, boys.
That's great. Games are good.
They really are.
Yeah, I truly love that one. So I love that moment so much, and Party Hard 2 just made me go, okay, well, I guess I need to be better at stealth then. And Jurassic World Evolution, because it's busted.
Yeah.
And making some dinosaurs do stuff on certain islands is busted, and doing certain goals is also busted. If you do a perfect run of Jurassic World Evolution, you're lying. Those are the difficult games I played.
Do we want to go into emotional ones? Or we kind of already touched on them a little, but...
Yeah, I don't think any of them are gonna rival Last of Us Part 2 for me. Though, I will say, I am still very mad at the ending of Trails of Cold Steel 3. Not in a... I know that I'll keep this short because I know I'm the only person in the world who plays these games for some reason, but the series has a tendency that every odd number, except Sky 3, I guess, I don't know, like, the first Sky and the first Cold Steel both have horrific cliffhangers at the end, and also 3 does too, and I wasn't sure I was expecting it, and it killed some characters, but the series does not usually do, and a bunch of bad things happened, and bad people have people that I like in danger, and I am so invested in these games, you have no idea. And I haven't played 4 yet because even though it came out last year, the Switch version isn't out until the 30th of this month. And I'm very mad. But anyway, aside from that, everyone play Trails of Cold Steel, please. It's so good, and I don't have anyone to talk to about it. But
we
yes,
just started the first game over at my dwelling.
Ooh. I think it's very good. I hope that you do too. I kind of fell in love.
We just started it, so because we found it on the PSN, and I went, we should play this!
Yes, it's excellent. It's sort of like a fantasy Magitech Persona-ish, and it's the characters are so good, and I love them, and they're long, but that means that... Anyway, I don't mean to turn this into a whole tangent about how amazing this series is, but everyone should play it. But yeah, aside from that ending taking me by surprise and making me sad and frustrated in all the best ways, it's definitely The Last of Us Part 2.
I got it. Yeah, probably Last of Us Part 2 for me as well. Though I will add that game to my Switch list.
Oh man, please do. It's long, but it's so good. I love it.
As I feel like the saying on this podcast should just be, there are too many games, because there's too many games to play, my friend. There
just are. I need immortality, and also for no one to make any more games for a few hundred years.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Is anybody here a fan of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games at all? Because I kind of want to talk about that.
That depends on how you define fan. I
thought you were going to talk about SkateBIRD for a second, and I got excited, but you didn't.
Well, I'm so excited to play SkateBIRD.
Yeah, look, we'll talk about that in 2022, right?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Okay, I'll try and keep it quick. That's just my motto for this whole thing. But quick story time. When I was a kid, I didn't actually get any video game consoles for myself until way later than you would think, considering how obsessed I am with the medium. I had to buy my own PS1, and that was by the time the PS2 was already out. So before that, I mostly played video games when I was at friends' houses, and one of my friends had a PlayStation along with Crash Bandicoot 2. It was my introduction to that game. I was obsessed with it. It was all I wanted to play. And Gran Turismo 2, which I kind of hate those kinds of racing games, so that was not fun, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. So whenever my friend wanted to actually play multiplayer games instead of just letting me play Crash Bandicoot 2, we usually played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. So it was something of a fallback for me, but I did still enjoy it. So I did get the remake and play through it just a little bit. Not get it, I rented it and played through it just a little bit, and it was very nostalgic for me. I'm not sure I would care to put a ton of time into it, but it was fun to revisit.
I mean, I've never played the Pro Skater games, to be honest. I've only played Tony Hawk's Underground. But there's just something so satisfying about the gameplay in Tony Hawk games. And I'd always wanted to play the Pro Skater games, so I'm like, oh, cool, I'm excited to play this. And I didn't play too much of it just because I'm not especially good. I'm okay, but I just can't do some goals, and I just, after a while of trying to redo them over and over, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break. But just something about it is so satisfying. The sound of the board falling onto the pavement. It's just something about the early 2000s comes to mind when I play that game. That I just freaking love. I still need to return to it because I think I played a lot of that in I want to say October-ish. So I need to go back to it, but I enjoyed that quite a bit when I was playing.
Yeah, they're legitimately good games, and they really do. It's not just that they're good at skating or whatever. They do legitimately manage to sort of sell you on a mood. That you're in. It feels like a slice of skater culture from the time they came out, and all the music and stuff. It really just manages to sell that. I feel like it has an identity beyond just being a game where it's fun to skate, and that's good.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because I was going to say too, a friend of mine, I'd asked her if she liked those games, and she said, well, I don't like sports games. And I was like, I never viewed Tony Hawk as a sports game. And I saw online a lot of people were talking about it being a platformer type game, and I'm like, I mean, kinda.
Huh.
Okay.
Kinda, just a little.
It
I've-
kind of, like, I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, and the worst thing is now I'm starting to see it too. I go, oh, no.
Right, I know.
I am actually going to, real quick, this makes for great radio, I know, but I'm going to post a tweet of mine in the thing because I created my own skater when I was playing it,
Yes.
and she is a masterpiece.
Yes, I remember seeing this.
There's
Amazing.
a close-up in a reply tweet, too. Jimmy was very mad at me because she loves playing with character creators, and she didn't get a chance to before I returned it, but I made this abomination. And,
it's
I'm very
perfect.
proud of my
Really.
skater.
It's the best creation. I love
It's
it.
my own little episode of Monster Factory.
There you go. There you go.
I
Oh,
had
sorry.
one. I did have one actually emotional game that I wanted to mention because that no one has mentioned it,
Oh,
and I don't see a lot of people mentioning it at all.
okay.
Okay, so it's this game called What Comes After.
Okay.
It's the same creator. It's Togoe Studios, which are the guys that did Coffee Talk.
Oh,
Oh,
I think they were part. Hold on, let me double check that because I am 90% sure.
oh, I
No,
got
but it's
that
just like
recently. I need to play it.
yeah, it's from the creator of Coffee Talk in collaboration
Coffee
with
Talk.
Rolling Jam. Yeah, it's a heartwarming experience and a love letter to all those who think you're a burden to other people. Basically, it's this girl that she just finds herself as a burden, and she says that, well, I guess I shouldn't be around anymore. And she just like has all these really negative thoughts about herself before she goes to sleep on this train, and then she wakes up and there's all these ghosts around her. And she goes, "What's going on?" And she ended up on a train that ended up going to the afterlife instead. And she has she has to find out by the end of the game whether or not she wants to stay in the afterlife or live.
that's
It's very short, but it's a lot.
it sounds
Oh, boy.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
is.
Between that and Spiritfarer, I feel like we got some good, like,
Ooh.
sort of explorations of death through cute visuals and stuff, which I need to play that one still, but
Same.
that's great.
There is also When the Past Was Here. I think that's 100% what that one is called. Let me just double check. That also came out last year that I just
When the
started
past was
playing.
around.
Yep, that's it. Thank you. When the Past Was Around, yeah. Because I've been working on a small video essay about all three of those games and how 2020 discusses death and its aftermath through independent gaming, which I think Spiritfarer is indie technically.
Yeah, I am very excited for that video for one, and I am also wishlisting this game because it looks very gorgeous.
It does.
It was messed. Also, I think this is also one from the Coffee Talk people. Hold on, I think it is actually.
Yeah, Toby Productions.
Toji, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
are they a publisher or a developer?
I think they might be a publisher, maybe.
They do have a lot of games and varied in genre.
Yeah.
They do.
I was recommended the game by a friend of mine, or the What Comes After. I was thrown that way by a friend of mine who said, you know, you have a very unique perspective on death. Why don't you do a video about this? And I went, okay. And I looked at it and I went, I could do that.
Yeah.
So it's part of why I'm working on it.
Nice. I'm excited for that video too, because these games all sound really good. Because also Spiritfarer I've had on my list for a while, but When the Past Was Around looks, just the art style looks so good. Like, I want to buy it right now, to be honest. I'm very tempted. It's actually kind of cheap too, so.
Oh, I actually just remembered one I want to mention too, if that's all right.
Sure.
Technically, I didn't start playing it until just a little while ago, but Jimmy and I have been co-oping through Haven the last little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that?
we're really enjoying it so far. Like gameplay wise, it's a little janky, but not in a bad way. Just in a this is an indie game made on a small budget sort of way, and it's really cute. It's this sci-fi game about these two people who you learn about where they came from sort of over the course of it. So we still don't know everything because we're still fairly early on in it. But like they apparently came from some kind of spacefaring civilization that does like matchmaking, and they fell in love, but then were match made with other people. So they stole a ship and escaped to another planet where they couldn't be tracked. And it's just them like sort of surviving on this strange planet and figuring it out. But it's mostly just focused on their relationship and their connection and chemistry. And it's really cute. We've been enjoying it. I like it, and I think it's going to turn into something that I really, really like. So
I didn't realize this game was already out, to be honest, because I'd heard about it, but when did this come out?
I'm pretty sure if it came out this year, then I guess I was cheating, but I think it came out last year.
I'm looking.
I think it did too, actually. Well, it came out on the
December
Switch
3rd,
last
2020.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool.
And it's on pretty much everything now, it looks like. We have it on Switch, but you could get it on whatever.
Oh, definitely.
And another fun little, it's a smaller game that was a mobile. It was a mobile game, but now it's on Steam and on the Switch. It's called The World Next Door.
Yeah!
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I'm so glad someone else has played it.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and I liked it. I finished it.
Yeah, it's a real interesting and fun little game that I think really, really needs more to it. Like that was sort of my main complaint, is that it was sort of palpable to me how much it felt like there should have been more stuff, and I would really like more of it. But I don't know if it sold enough. I hope it did, because I liked it.
I've had it on my wish list for a little while now, so
Get it when it's on sale.
I should really just like give you access to my Steam library or something, because I've got a lot of these.
I was gonna say just like scroll through it. And any like honorable mentions that we want to go over?
I've got a few.
Okay.
Same.
I want to mention Half-Life Alyx. I know that that's not a very accessible thing. I can only even play it because I used to have more money than I do now, so I have VR. But it's really good. Like it's just an extremely well made and very detailed VR game. It does a really neat thing. Like one of the most difficult things with VR when you're, someone like me who doesn't have the biggest VR room in existence, is like when you need to crouch down and pick up items all over the place or whatever, like the actual however much actual motion you have to do in your limited space, the more of it you end up needing to actually exercise in the game versus just being able to, the more difficult it can really be to maneuver. And it's just got this really nice little mechanic where you have a little glove with an energy field or whatever. You point at something, hold a button, and then flick your wrist, and it just comes flying up to you, and you can grab it. It's such a small thing, but it really just revolutionizes the way that, like, picking things up in VR works in a way that just removes it as a burden and turns it into a fun thing. And then just, aside from that, of course, it's really good. It's a good Half-Life game. It uses VR extremely well, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I also want to give a shout out to the Solitaire Conspiracy.
Wait, what is this?
Okay, the guy who made Thomas Was Alone, Mike Bithell, which is another one you should play if you haven't. Thomas Was Alone is short and very, very good. He has since been making a bunch of other games that are like, well, he made a little stealth game called Volume, and he also made a John Wick strategy game recently. But aside from that, he's been working on a bunch of short little games like Subsurface Circular and the Solitaire Conspiracy. They're all sort of kind of experimental and short and simple and really interesting, and all in the same universe, weirdly enough. And the Solitaire Conspiracy is a game with FMV cutscenes with like actual real life actors talking to you and stuff, where you are organizing an agency's field agents by playing solitaire and like trying to, organize all of your agents and put them in the right places to get them ready before a battle. Like I said, when I was talking about Murder by Numbers, I just love abstracting like puzzle gamey concepts into some more complex thing that they represent for a story. So this scratched that itch really well. And it's just a really cool little variant on Solitaire that turns it into a cheesy, fun espionage mystery story. And I liked it a whole lot. I think Mike Bithell is doing some fun things, and I would definitely, like, I don't know if I'd say it's one of my favorite games. I don't know if I'd say it's one of the best games of the year, but it was one of the ones that I had the most fun with, and I recommend it. Also, shout out to Ghost Runner. I don't. There's been a lot of like talk about it when it first came out. It's like a sci-fi game where you're a ninja with a sword, and if you both you and your enemies all die in one hit, so it's like sort of a puzzle platformer almost, really, where like you have to figure out how to navigate a complex field without getting shot at all. And it's kind of frustrating, but it's really cool when you when it works, when you figure out what you need to do and just do this real quick, smooth takedown of all the guys in this area or whatever. It's really neat, and I do recommend it. And I think that's sort of Star Wars Squadrons is also good. VR makes me sick, unfortunately, because but for the moments I was able to, it was real cool to sit in the cockpit of an X-wing. And aside from that, it's just a solid Star Wars space shooter, which I feel like there's been a lack of lately. So, yeah, I think that's sort of my. Oh no, wait, sorry, one more thing, really quick. Actually, two more. Okay, whatever. I played the first chapter of Higurashi finally.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took so long, Red.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like, honestly, one of the best visual novels I've like ever read, just as of chapter 1. Just really, really good. Fantastic pacing, great horror elements. Like, I really loved it. I have since bought all the others and will be playing the rest of it because it's very good. And I also, this was the year that I decided to start and thus inevitably get obsessed with Yakuza. I just can't. This charm of that series is so hard to explain to people. You just kind of have to experience it. It's just, it's a game about gangsters, and it's got all its serious story elements, but also the main characters are so pure and wholesome and wonderful. And that's just kind of like most of it is just people who were really tough being put in tough situations, but just being the best, nicest people they can possibly be in their circumstances. It's just surprisingly sweet and wholesome for what seems like it would be like a gritty crime story, and is to some degree. The whole series is just an absolute delight, and I cannot recommend getting into Yakuza highly enough. It's so good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about that series, and I need to get into that.
Yes, it's recommended. It's like I said, it's hard to really sell people. Like, it's hard to describe in a way that makes people understand what the deal is with it, but it's very good. So
nice.
Anyway, I'm done. I don't have any more games I'm gonna tack on to it. So you two go.
You can go first, Red.
Okay. Hey, so there's this game called Eagle Island, and it's about falconry, and it's a pixel, not pixel-like rogue. It's a roguelite, or it's a roguelike that is a pixel platformer-esque thing, and you get a little falcon buddy, or he's an owl. He's a little owl buddy. You have bird friend, and it's great because I think I kickstarted a while back, and I was really excited about it coming out because it's a platformy, cool thing, and you get different elemental powers and everything like that. And you get different birds, because it's falconry, so my brain just went falcon, but no, it's not a falcon, it's an owl. And you can get other birds, and it's really fun because it's randomly generated, a lot of the worlds, and then the bosses are interesting and entertaining. But yeah, no, I'm just saying.
Multiple burb friends?
Multiple burb friends.
Red, I wish you told me about this before. I want this game so bad.
It's a lot of fun. It's one of those that I have to take breaks in between because I will end up never leaving. But and it doesn't always in the recording, and I notice it doesn't always record the amount of time I play. But because I remember I played so much of I think I had access to the beta. I think so, because I had access to the beta for a bit, and I had all my investment in that, and then now I have the Steam version. I went, well, this is weird. Yeah, it's you and Koji. Yeah, and you get to cast him in 8 different directions. It's great. I love it.
Mm.
That's just
So
a fun game that I would highly recommend. Platforming pixel art, fun. All right, what else? Because there was another. Oh, there's a minimalistic island builder game that I like called Islanders, where you have like a little tiny. You can build in your islands and you grow things, and it's just kind of a chill game that I play just to de-stress.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, it looks really cute.
Oh,
Yeah, just a tiny chill game that I sit back and I play sometimes,
that's nice.
and just I guess how the kids say it, vibe. I vibe. How to get. Also, yes, Your Grace, I played last year and I'm not done with it yet, but I want to actually beat it because it is
Right.
very. Yeah, that came out last year and it was apparently has all these awards. It was nominated for the outstanding story rich game on Steam,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's fun. It's like Rain if you had actual emotional attachment to anyone, and it's like the Game of Thrones game, except thank God it's not Game of Thrones.
Mm,
And
that's fair.
But- yeah.
Mm.
But it's fun. I like it. It's a little bit. It's fun in that kind of horrifying way because everybody can die at any time. But
Right.
it's fun. And there's an early access game called Monster Crown that I really enjoy. It's like Pokemon, except for some reason they go, okay, let's make it edgy. I hate that word, but that's the word they use in some of the marketing. So I went, okay.
Wait, really?
What'd you say it's called?
It's called Monster Crown. Like I've seen a lot of people use the word edgy in the reviews, and while I normally would not agree with it, it kind of applies. Like the game is immensely improved since its original launch, but at the same time, there's certain things that just pop up out of nowhere that are just like themes that you just do not expect to show up, and you go, "Oh, okay, I guess this is happening." Like we're like characters. There's like a guy that's like, "I'm gonna mug you because you're ugly," or just like stuff like that. Like they'll say stuff like random kids game stuff, and then they'll say something like, "Ah, yes, here is my drug ring," and you go, "Hold on."
Yeah, looking at it on Steam, it really does kind of look like one of those like RPG Maker games that's made to look all cute and happy, and then gets really dark, just sort of Pokemon themed. Huh.
Yeah, and I don't get me wrong, I love these sort of. Yeah, okay, so they curse a lot in this too. See, I love games that have like this kind of like the Pokemon is like it's Pokemon but darker because it's just fun to play, and like sometimes they actually have decent enough stories, sometimes they don't, but it's fun. But this game has a mixture of me genuinely enjoying myself and also me going, what is happening? Why? And also, do I have to grind for how long now? Cool. Great. 10 levels? Great. That's fantastic. Yeah, because grinding is not easy in this game, because it's not like you can plug your characters into the cheat engine thing and just go, okay, I'm just going to go really fast like you can do for a Pokemon ROM hack.
Right.
No, this one you actually have to be actually grind, and it can be a little bit tedious.
Yeah.
A smidge. And hey, also just saying, Monster Prom is still relevant, and it has a sequel game now.
I still have not tried that. I honestly don't know much about it. It's mentioned all the time.
Yeah.
It's a board game. It's basically
a board game. Okay.
It's best play. It's a visual novel board game thing. It's best played with friends rather than solo. It's a board game visual novel dating sim.
Oh.
Like you compete.
Okay.
Yeah, you compete on dating like your preferred, and there is dialogue, and you read through the dialogue and everything, and then you like up your stats to appeal to your chosen person, and get a date for prom.
This looks
all right.
Very pleasant. Like, okay, so many new games on my wish list today. Like, seriously.
It's fun. It's a competitive monster dating sim. That's how they tag it.
Wait, so was this whole podcast just like a ruse to get us to recommend you games?
How
Yes.
did you
Obviously.
know? Mwahaha. I mean, you both like always like just say games where I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. Let's look it up. Okay, wish list added. Like just, man.
Monster Prom system requirements under processor say anything from the last 5 years, and I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I see that now too. Oh my gosh, that just automatically makes me love it even more. I feel like, well, so before I go, any more games that you both want to mention? Or do you think that's all of them?
I will look at my list, but I feel
Yeah, I'm
like
looking
I
at
have,
mine.
taken
Because I feel like when I go through mine, I'll probably just like focus on a few more. But like I'll probably just name the ones that I did, that I
Okay, I
played.
do want to say I'm excited to play Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
I have not played it yet, but I have it, and I'm looking forward to it, even if every time I see the name Backstreet Boys gets stuck in my head, which is fine, actually, because that song slaps, and I will not apologize.
Mm.
Tell me when
Also, I will enter this, I don't know if it's a hot debate necessarily, but I will say that Ghost of Tsushima was good.
Oh.
Even as someone who is definitely sort of over the whole big open world game thing, I think that Ghost of Tsushima did what it did well enough and put enough, nice little spins on the formula to make it good. And also it's gorgeous, which is not enough to carry a game entirely, but nonetheless, I very much enjoyed that experience, and I think it was good. I liked it. I'm also replaying the Phoenix Wright trilogy for my friend's blog, Right Wednesday, and Phoenix Wright is good, and everyone should play that too. It's good.
Nice.
Now I'm done.
I mean, I have some games I'm looking forward to that I have not gotten yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe I can.
You go first.
Yeah, I'll go through and then we can all talk about the games that we're looking forward to, because that's a good point to bring up.
Oh yeah, that is a good. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a lot of them, so I'll just quickly go through. I finally played Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, which I never thought I would do, but here we are, and I beat it, and I'm very proud of myself. It was on beginner mode, but still, I did it. Untitled Goose Game, which is just...
It's so good.
It's
so good.
Let's see, What Remains of Edith Finch I finally played.
Oh,
Nice.
I still need to play that one.
Yeah, I ended up playing that, like, it was kind of like a rush decision, like I didn't expect to play it, and I ended up really enjoying it. I got a what's it called, a trial for Google Stadia, so I played the game Super Hot on there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a fun one.
Yeah, I didn't realize it would be so short. Like, I just thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna play through this, and then I ended up beating it, I think in 2 sittings, I forget, but yeah, it was pretty short.
Incidentally, very fun in VR too. Like, they made a VR mode, and it is very cool.
I've heard about that. That would be a really cool game for that. I played Inside. You guys heard of that one?
Yeah, I still
Yeah.
haven't. I played Limbo,
haven't
but I have not yet played Inside. I need
Same.
to.
It's funny because I actually played Limbo with a few friends of mine because my friend had gotten it on his Xbox, and we all just kind of passed the controller to one another. So I didn't really beat it on my own. I just played it with them. And we did the same for Inside, but this is the first time like I actually played one of their games on my own. And I love the style of their games. It's just like there's no real story, but there's like story going on in the background, and you have to sort of determine what's going on. And I really appreciate that. I played the Donkey Kong Country on the Switch, which was the first game that I fell in love with, and maybe partially because, I mean, it was the first game I ever played, but also my initials are DK, so, you know, I just have to bring it up.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
No, oh, yes. But what else? Played through the first 3 Uncharted games, which I didn't enjoy that much, actually. But I just finished Uncharted 4, so it's okay. I really liked Uncharted 4. But for some reason didn't enjoy my playthroughs of the first 3 Uncharteds. I shouldn't say Uncharted.
Aged a bit. I feel like they're the types of games that were impressive when they came out in a way that is not that's more common now. So there's a degree to which the off factor just isn't there, and that does bring them down a little bit. I'll still stand 2 in particular, but 4 is significantly better. So like,
yeah. I was literally just about to say 2 is one I'll make an exception for, because 2 I thought was in its own way just fantastic. I really loved that one in comparison to 1 and 3.
Yeah, good.
The World Ends With You. I finally played.
Ooh.
Which I think I mentioned to you, Sam. I feel like that game is just much better on the DS than the Switch.
I'm glad you agree, because a lot of people just don't like the fighting in that game on the DS is very, it's sort of awkward and hard to get used to. I'll give it that, but I also think that it's good and significant, and I love it.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those games that I've had for so long, and I've just never popped it in, and I think part of it was because it was touchscreen controls. I mean, I could have played with the Joy-Cons, but I think it sort of depends on you actually pointing at the Switch, and the way my Switch is positioned, it just wouldn't have worked out. So I did do the touchscreen controls, and ended up getting used to it, and ended up enjoying it a lot more than I expected to. So yeah, very good game. Ukulele The Impossible Lair, Journey, which Journey surprised me a lot, just because I didn't know you were playing. Sorry, go ahead.
That's an all-time great.
I didn't know other people were playing with me until I got to the end, and I was like, oh, that was a player. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which I also enjoyed quite a bit. And, of course, Miles Morales, which I ended up completing, getting all the trophies for, which I didn't expect to do, but I was like, you know what? I love it so much, so I did it.
That's cool.
And yeah, that's all of them.
I'm looking forward to playing Miles Morales, because I really loved Spider-Man. So
it's very good. I have little critiques, but I don't think, that we have time for me to bring them up on this podcast, but it's still very, very good. And it's short enough where I think I platinumed the game in a week. So the game is pretty, if it's short enough to play through and platinum, then you'll probably beat it in no time.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess with all that said, we can go into our games we're looking forward to this year in 2021. Any standouts, or not just games we're looking forward to, but games that we're kind of hoping for as well. And when I say that, my go-to is Zelda 35. I just really want Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker on my Switch. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you both? What's one or some big games you're looking forward to?
Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
Wait, what?
Okay, Googling.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to it so much. You play as a turnip, and he doesn't want to pay taxes anymore. So
What?
He doesn't want to pay taxes. Do you want to always pay taxes as a turnip? No. So you...
Is it a Zelda style game? It looks like a Zelda game. About being a turnip and evading taxes?
Yep.
This is amazing.
I love it so much. I played the demo and I thought about maybe talking about it, but I go, no, I'm going to wait till it comes out.
Okay, here's a question. It says that the planned release date is tax day. Does that mean it's delayed?
Oh, snap.
Maybe.
Good. That's a very legitimate question.
And also, I would really like Mineko's Night Market to come out on Steam. And I would like Ooblets to come out on Steam, because I can't get into my Epic Games launcher thing to even buy it. So I'm just going, I would like Ooblets to come out on Steam so I could actually play it, or on the Switch, please. And Digimon Survive, please. Can we have Digimon Survive, please? And Rune Factory 5. I just want to play Rune Factory 5. I have my games. Oh, and Prehistoric Kingdom. Because it's like Prehistoric Kingdom is like Jurassic World Evolution, but if they were trying to be scientifically accurate.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That sounds really cool, actually. Ooh,
It looks neat. It's gonna probably be out in early access before it's gonna be out in as released as a whole, but I'm probably gonna get in early access, which I don't do very often. So
it looks beautiful.
it is really pretty, and if you look up all of their little mini trailers, it looks good enough. It looks nice. Looks like they're really trying to make it a kind of an accurate experience.
That's cool.
Not that the cool movie monsters of Jurassic World Evolution are bad, but I don't know. It's nice to see some accuracy in there just on occasion for my dinosaur dorky self.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all I've got that I remember off the top of my head. Someone's probably going to yell at me later about how I forgot something, so it's fine.
Well, we
I
could.
just looked up a list of upcoming games this year,
Well-
so I could remind myself.
Well, I'm gonna say, like, for all three of us, I think we can safely say that SkateBIRD we're looking forward to.
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
I want SkateBIRD so bad.
I mean, the demo is out. I just haven't played it yet.
Same. I need to. It looks so cute.
Mm-hmm.
The bird is just flapping on his skateboard. I love it.
Yes, it looks amazing. Like, this easily, like, I think I can confidently say, even though the year's not over, like, Game of the Year, SkateBIRD. Like,
Game of the year.
just
10 out of 10.
yeah. And if we end up making this a tradition, and next year we're recording, and I say something else, you can just feel free to call me out, like, because SkateBIRD, Game of the Year.
We just say SkateBIRD no matter what.
Right.
Whatever year it is. Game of the Year SkateBIRD.
Right. Exactly. I mean, Sam, I know you'll be happy to hear me say this, but I'm really looking forward to playing the Nier games finally.
Yes.
Nier
That's
Replicant.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's coming out this
you know,
year, isn't it?
spoilers for my list of most excited, but yeah, that is my absolute most anticipated game because I love Nier and Nier Automata a whole lot, and I'm very excited for this remake. I actually went ahead and spent more money than I should on it and got that very special version of it because I love it so much. So, yeah, I'm excited.
What other games do you have on your list that you're looking forward to?
Oh, let's see. Horizon Forbidden West, obviously, because Horizon Zero Dawn was just phenomenal. I don't know if I'm looking forward to this, but I'm scared about Halo Infinite because I love Halo, but there hasn't been a great Halo game since Halo Reach, and Halo 5 was not good. So I want Halo Infinite to be good, but I have some pretty severe doubts. So we'll see how that goes. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition, obviously, I'm looking forward to because that trilogy is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to replaying it in a remastered way. And then, aside from, like, there are other games I'm excited for, but aside from that, I think the main thing is Stray. It's a game that's going to be coming out for the PS5, where it's in a futuristic, like, cyberpunk world, and you play as a cat. And it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I am very excited for that. And then, yeah, aside from that, I'm just super psyched for Nier Replicant. I'm so excited for Nier Replicant because I love it already, but I'm looking forward to seeing, the different version of it, since this is the version with a younger protagonist that we didn't get over here in the West.
Yeah.
And it's also just it's Nier, and I love it. So yeah.
This Stray game looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks real good. It was announced in the PS5 announcement like conference thing that they had. I think it's exclusive to that. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing it when it comes out.
It looks like it will also be on PS4, which I guess I'm
okay. Well,
somewhat
good.
thankful for at the moment before I get a PS5. Too bad they got rid of their wish list feature on their website, so I'll have to copy this link to save it because this game looks amazing.
Yeah,
I think-
Annapurna's been on a roll, like that. They publish a bunch of indie games, and they, like the Pathless is them, Outer Wilds is them, which is really, really amazing. If anyone hasn't played that, absolutely do. Like they're just doing a whole lot of good stuff.
Oh wow, I didn't realize all the stuff that they've worked on. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a lot of good games. They also just released Maquette, which I have not played yet, but I'm looking forward to. It's like a love story where the gameplay takes place in like a recursive city where you can take an item, like an object, and drop it on a model of the city, and then it shows up like to scale in the city itself. It's really interesting, and city might be the wrong word. Anyway, it looks cool. I'm looking forward to playing it. It was free on PS Plus for the PS5 this month, so
I am also looking forward to it, and also Bryce Dallas Howard is doing the voice acting, so we're back to Jurassic World.
We
oh, I
are.
forgot she's in it. That's great.
That's like, that should be a theme too. Like at some point, like whenever we're making a point about something, it always has to come back to Jurassic World. So that's just a rule. I think honestly, like even though I haven't played this game yet, I really want to play Persona 5 Royal finally this year. And so therefore I'm looking forward to playing Persona 5 Strikers afterward.
Oh, yeah.
And another game I'm looking forward to, I think it's an indie game. It's called Bear and Breakfast. Where you're like a bear who runs a bed and breakfast.
Children's book,
Oh,
and I
no.
kind of love it.
Oh, it's a children's book? I didn't realize that.
No, it sounds like one though. Think
Oh.
about it.
It does. I mean, it looks and it sounds amazing. Like
It looks very cute.
yeah, it looks like such an adorable game. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for also that game. I forget the developer's name, but Season. It's coming out. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm trying to bring it up because I forget what it's about. It's just about a boy, I believe, riding his bike. That's all I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yes. I'd forgotten about that one, but it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of like fantasy or sci-fi setup where each generation lives for only a season, I think, or something. I forget
I think you're
exactly,
right.
but it looks really cool.
It does look really cool. I'm very hyped for that. And I'm also, I know this is not a big one, but I'm looking forward to the game Braid coming to the Switch, because I thought I didn't own it, but apparently I do own it on 360, but I'm probably going to buy it anyway for the Switch just because they're upgrading the visuals and stuff. But I've never played it, so I'm very excited to finally get to experience it.
It is something of a classic.
Yeah. And also I'm kind of hoping that Banjo-Kazooie comes to the Switch. That's like my hopeful thing. Just, I want to play it on the go, so that would be nice. Yeah. Or for Diddy Kong Racing to come on the Switch. That's what I want. Like,
yeah, I am one of those like put everything on Switch advocates.
Yes.
Every game ever, just put it on the Switch. I want it.
Pretty much same, yeah. I mean, look, I doubt that Rare is gonna end up bringing those games to the Switch anyway, just because Microsoft and Nintendo not gonna do that. But just I want them to come to some kind of agreement, help the fans out a little, because Diddy Kong Racing, let's be honest, nobody's played that really since, I know it was on the DS, I believe, but really it started as an N64 game. Nobody's been able to access it since, so bring it to the Switch, please. Just come on, man. That's the only reason I keep my N64, so I can play that game still. But yeah, any other games before we sign off?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I think I've blabbed about more than enough as it is.
All right, cool. Well, Red, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs?
All of you can find me over on my channel, Red Angel. Also, my name, Red Angel. But I'm also on Twitter, Red Angel X3 at Twitter. At Red Angel X3. I don't remember how to do it. But just one of those things where I go, how do I social media again? It has been a long time. But I'm Red Angel X3 on a lot of things. You can find my channel by searching YouTube. I'm the one with the owl on her shoulder. Hard to miss.
Nice. And what about you, Sam? Where can everybody find you?
Mainly at youtube.com/games-as-literature, or if you just search Games as Literature or Games as Lit 101 on YouTube, you'll find me. I also actually recently did a collab video on Red's channel about Coffee Talk, so if you think the two of us are cool, then you can check that out. because it's just us talking about coffee talk for a long time.
A long time.
Look, it looks, what is it, 36 minutes long? It looks glorious. I'm so excited.
It is, honestly.
Somehow shorter than a lot of the like major videos that I make on my own channel, but still quite long. But yeah, and I'm also on Twitter at Games as Literature, and other places like Patreon and Facebook, but those are sort of the main ones, unless you think I'm cool and want to give me money. So yeah, that's me.
All right, awesome. And of course, you can find Level Story at levelstory.net. Over on social media, usually it's either Level Story or Level Story Mag. Usually Level Story Mag. And yeah, that wraps up our episode for today. So thank you both for hanging out. This was a lot of fun.
It was. Always. Indeed.
We'll have to look forward to our reflection on 2021 next year. Because I'm excited to talk about, like, there's so many games to talk about, man. Like, we're going to have so much fun. Like, in my head, I'm like, yes, a tradition for the Level Story podcast. Like, we should do it.
Considering you're also just now discovering Soulsborne games, I imagine that'll be a big topic of discussion next time. So
look, yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'm holding back like on the most recent games I've been playing, so like I'm very excited to get into that once we finish the year out. But yeah, and there's still so much to go, even though the year has passed very quickly. But I know. All right, well, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.